Be me, 24, fresh out of college with computer science degree. Desperate for job after 8 months of rejections. Finally get interview at a digital marketing company. Weird name, but whatever, I need the money. Show up to sleek downtown office building. Receptionist looks shocked when I walk in. Are you here for the janitor position? Tell her I'm here for the software developer interview. She makes several phone calls, whispering frantically. Eventually get called up to 15th floor. Elevator doors open to reveal what can only be described as a feminist fever dream. Walls covered in motivational posters with slogans like "Smash the patriarchy" and "Women don't need to be nice." Every single employee is female. I mean, every single one. They all stop talking and stare at me like I just walked into a women's bathroom. Awkward silence for what feels like 10 minutes. Finally, a woman in her 40s approaches. You must be Brian? She says my name like it's a dirty word. Get led to conference room for interview. Interviewer is Rebecca, the CEO. Short purple hair, nose ring, wearing a "Nevertheless She Persisted" t-shirt. Starts interview by asking if I'm comfortable working in a female-dominated environment. Obviously say yes, because I need this job. She asks if I've ever been accused of sexual harassment. Weird question, but okay. .jpg. Asks if I understand concepts like toxic masculinity and intersectional feminism. Just nod along, smile, and say yes to everything. Somehow get the job. First day arrives. Wear my best business casual outfit, immediately get pulled aside by HR lady named Jessica. We need to discuss the dress code. Apparently my khakis and button-down shirt are intimidating and project masculine dominance. What? She hands me a pamphlet titled "Dressing for Equality in the Workplace." Suggests I wear softer colors and less structured clothing. Ask if there's a company uniform. Oh no, we don't believe in forcing conformity on women. The irony is lost on her. Get shown to my desk. It's in the corner, isolated from everyone else. Like they quarantined me. Desk setup is ancient. Computer from 2015, monitor with dead pixels. Meanwhile, every woman has dual 4K monitors and latest MacBooks. Ask about getting updated equipment. Rebecca overhears and calls an impromptu team meeting. We need to discuss Brian's request for new equipment. Acts like I demanded a throne made of gold. Meeting ends with them forming a technology equity committee to review all equipment requests. Spoiler alert, my request gets denied. Week 2, trying to integrate with the team. Join conversation about weekend plans. Mention I went to a sports bar to watch football. Entire office goes silent. Sarah from accounting starts lecturing me about how football perpetuates violence culture. Amanda from design chimes in about the objectification of cheerleaders. I'm just sitting there like, I just watched a game. Now, I'm apparently complicit in the oppression of women. Decide to keep mouth shut about hobbies from now on. Week 3, lunch situation becomes a nightmare. There's a kitchen area where everyone eats together. I bring a sandwich, sit at empty table. Within minutes, the entire female staff has relocated to the other side of the room. Eating lunch alone like a leper. Overhear them whispering about making sure he doesn't feel too comfortable. One girl suggests they need a safe space for lunch discussions. Rebecca loves the idea. Next day, there's a new policy. Gender-specific lunch zones. Guess who gets the tiny table by the printer? Month 2, first team building event. It's a goddess empowerment workshop, led by some lady named Crystal who burns sage and talks about divine feminine energy. I'm literally the only man in a room of 30 women. Crystal keeps referring to our sacred sisterhood, then looks directly at me and says, and our observer. Observer? We have to do trust falls and share our goddess stories. When it's my turn, I'm told I can share my journey to understanding the divine feminine. I make something up about respecting my mother. Crystal nods approvingly and says I'm on the path to healing my masculine toxicity. Back at office, work assignments are getting weird. Every project I'm given has already been completed by someone else. I'm basically doing busy work, design mock-ups that will never be used, code reviews for code that's already been deployed. When I point this out, Rebecca says it's part of my learning process. Learning what exactly? How to waste time efficiently. Month 3, Halloween party. Everyone encouraged to dress as empowering female figures. I come as a generic ghost, safest option. Get pulled aside by Jessica from HR. Your costume choice is problematic. How is a ghost problematic? The white sheet has historical connotations. She thinks I'm dressed as a KKK member. I'm literally wearing a bedsheet with eye holes. Have to go home and change. Return wearing normal clothes. Now I'm not participating in team spirit. Can't win. Discover they have a group chat called The Coven. Accidentally see it on coworker's phone. Entire chat is about me. Brian update. He used the large microwave during my lunch prep time. Typical male entitlement. Should we report this to Rebecca? They're tracking my microwave usage. Start bringing cold lunches to avoid kitchen drama. Month 4. Company retreat to discuss dismantling workplace patriarchy. Held at some hippie retreat center with crystals and dream catchers everywhere. I'm rooming alone while everyone else gets roommates. For everyone's comfort, explains Rebecca. Fine by me. Less awkward that way. First session is about toxic masculinity in office environments. Facilitator asks for examples. Hands shoot up faster than at a Nazi rally. Brian always holds doors open. It's condescending. He says thank you too much. It's patronizing. His voice is too deep during conference calls. It's intimidating. I'm sitting right there. They're talking about me like I'm not in the room. Lunch break at retreat. Try to sit with marketing team. They all get up and move. Try graphic design team. Same thing. End up eating alone by the meditation labyrinth. Overhear Rebecca telling someone I'm a social experiment. An experiment to see if the office can civilize a man. Starting to think I'm not actually an employee. I'm a lab rat. Evening workshop on reclaiming our power. We're supposed to scream into pillows to release patriarchal oppression. 30 women screaming at maximum volume. I'm just sitting there holding a pillow. Brian, you need to scream too. Weakly yell, ah, into pillow. Louder, release your toxic masculinity. Yell slightly louder. He's not taking this seriously. Apparently my screaming technique is offensive. Month 5. New company policies rolling out weekly. Monday. Inclusive language guidelines. Can't say guys when addressing group, even though I'm the only guy. Can't say manpower. Must say person power. Can't say chairman. Must say chairperson. The list is 47 pages long. Tuesday. Emotional labor recognition program. Women get extra break time to process emotional labor. I get regular break time because men don't experience emotional labor. Wednesday. Workplace equity initiatives. All company social events must pass gender inclusion review. Thursday. Microaggression reporting system. Anonymous form to report subtle acts of discrimination. Friday. Inbox full of microaggression reports about me. Subject. Brian breathed loudly during meeting. Subject. Brian's keyboard clicking is aggressive. Subject. Brian said no problem instead of you're welcome. Dismissive of my gratitude. HR meeting about the reports. Jessica sits me down with thick folder. We need to address some concerning behaviors. My breathing is too loud. My typing is too aggressive. My walking pace is intimidating. I allegedly manspreaded during a conference call. How do you manspree read on a video call? Asked to attend Mindful Masculinity Workshop. It's 3 hours of meditation and apologizing for being male. Led by a guy named River who clearly hates himself. Keeps referring to his journey of masculine deconstruction. Makes me practice non-threatening posture. Shoulders hunched, head down, minimal eye contact. Feel like I'm learning to be a beaten dog. Month 6, the breaking point approaches. New initiative. Privilege points system. Everyone gets points based on their intersectional identity. Woman equals 10 points. Person of color equals 5 points. LGBTQ plus equals 5 points. Neurodivergent equals 3 points. Single mother equals 7 points, etc. Points determine speaking order in meetings, vacation priority, parking spots, everything. I get 0 points for being a cishet white male. Actually, I get negative points, -5, for being the oppressor class. This is a real system they implement with spreadsheets and everything. Team meeting about new client project. I have 10 years experience with the required software. Everyone else has never used it. But I can't speak until everyone with higher privilege points shares their input. 20 minutes of people admitting they don't know the software. Finally, my turn. Start explaining technical requirements. Interrupted by Amanda. Can we focus on the lived experiences of marginalized users? I'm trying to explain database architecture. She wants to discuss digital intersectionality. Meeting ends with no technical decisions made. Project assigned to Sarah, who's never coded in her life. Project fails spectacularly 2 weeks later. Somehow, this is my fault for not being supportive enough. Office birthday party for Rebecca. Everyone brings gifts related to feminism, books about overthrowing patriarchy, crystals, sage bundles. I bring a normal gift card to nice restaurant. Rebecca opens it in front of everyone. This is very traditional. Says it like I gave her anthrax. Did you consider that fancy restaurants often perpetuate classist dining culture? It's a gift card to Olive Garden. Olive Garden. Apparently unlimited breadsticks are a symbol of capitalist excess. Week later, mandatory allyship training session. Facilitator explains the pyramid of allyship. Level 1. Acknowledge your privilege. I'm here. Level 2. Listen and learn. Apparently I'm not here yet. Level 3. Amplify marginalized voices. Definitely not here. Level 4. Take action against oppression. Nowhere close. Level 5. True ally status. Impossible for someone like me. According to this pyramid, I can never actually be an ally. I can only aspire to be slightly less terrible. The session ends with everyone except me getting ally appreciation certificates. I get a participation trophy. Discover the office has a secret rating system for my daily behavior. Whiteboard in break room has categories. Brian masculinity meter. Green equals appropriately humble. Yellow equals potentially problematic. Red equals toxic masculinity detected. They rate my interactions throughout the day. Held door for someone equals yellow. Paternalistic. Offered to carry heavy box equals red. Assumes women are weak. Said good morning cheerfully equals yellow. Forced positivity. Said good morning neutrally equals yellow. Cold and distant. Didn't say good morning equals red. Hostile workplace behavior. There is literally no way to get green. Monthly growth and accountability meeting. It's just me being criticized for an hour. This month's theme, space and presence. Apparently I take up too much space. Not physically, emotionally. My male energy is overwhelming the feminine workspace. Asked to practice space minimization techniques. Speak softer. Move slower. Apologize before expressing any opinion. Avoid dominance postures. Standing straight, making eye contact, existing confidently. Rebecca suggests I might benefit from voluntary silence days. Days where I don't speak unless directly asked a question. Agree because I'm dead inside at this point. Silence day experiment begins. First day, don't speak unless asked direct question. Meeting about website redesign. Sit quietly while they discuss technical impossibilities. Want to suggest proper database structure. Can't speak unless asked. They decide to store everything in Excel files on shared drive. My eye starts twitching. End of meeting. Rebecca asks how I feel about the plan. It sounds interesting. Safest possible response. She nods approvingly. Much better energy today, Brian. Week of silence days turns into voluntary week of silence. Then 2 weeks. Now they expect me to only speak when absolutely necessary. Become expert at nodding and looking thoughtful. Project meetings are torture. Watch them make decisions that will definitely fail. Can't warn them without seeming mansplaining. 3 projects fail in 2 weeks. Somehow, still my fault for not being proactive enough. Can't win, even when I'm literally silent. Company newsletter features article, Our Journey Toward True Inclusivity. Written by Rebecca. Describes my hiring as brave experiment in workplace rehabilitation. We took a chance on reforming a traditional male mindset. While progress has been slow, we remain committed to his growth. I'm a charity case. Worse, I'm a failed charity case. Newsletter includes before and after photos of me. Before, confident and intimidating. Photo of me smiling on first day. After, humble and aware. Photo of me looking dead inside during meeting. Breaking point arrives during Women's History Month celebration. Office decorated with posters of famous women. Catered lunch with speakers about female empowerment. I'm assigned to setup and cleanup crew. Only male, obviously. Spend morning moving tables and chairs. During lunch, have to stand in back because all seats reserved for those celebrating their heritage. Speaker talks about allies who know their place. Makes eye contact with me. True allies don't center themselves in women's spaces. They support from the sidelines without expecting recognition. Basically describing an unpaid servant. Everyone turns to look at me and applaud. I'm applauding my own humiliation. After lunch, cleanup time. Moving tables back while everyone else returns to work. Rebecca approaches with photographer. Can we get a photo of you cleaning up? For our social media, shows our commitment to male allyship. Want to refuse but need this job. Photo of me taking out trash while everyone watches. Caption on company Instagram. Even our male colleagues understand their role in uplifting women. Hashtag allyship goals, hashtag male accountability. 2,000 likes. I'm a viral symbol of male submission. That evening, see my photo shared on feminist Facebook groups. Finally, a man who knows his place. This is how all men should behave in women's spaces. Look how happy he is to serve. This is growth. I look absolutely miserable in the photo. Apparently misery reads as happiness to them. Start getting friend requests from random feminists who want to learn from my journey. Final straw comes during Toxic Masculinity Awareness Week. I'm asked to give presentation about my rehabilitation process to other companies interested in reforming male employees. PowerPoint title, From Oppressor to Ally, One Man's Journey. Have to stand in front of 50 business people and describe my toxic behaviors. Apparently wanting to contribute technical expertise was centering myself. Trying to participate in conversations was dominating space. Existing comfortably was perpetuating privilege. Q&A session is 30 minutes of people asking how they can break their male employees' spirits more efficiently. One woman asks if they've considered voluntary salary reduction as privilege acknowledgement. Rebecca's eyes light up. That's brilliant. Brian, would you be interested in pioneering our privilege tax program? Drive home that night questioning everything. Call my mum crying for first time since middle school. Explain the whole situation. She listens quietly, then explodes. Brian, what the hell is wrong with you? Get out of there before you need therapy. This is abuse. But I need the job. But the job market is terrible. But maybe I really am problematic. Maybe I do need to be fixed. Maybe this is normal, and I'm just not enlightened enough. Mum threatens to drive down and have words with Rebecca. Talk her out of it, but she makes me promise to start job hunting. Next morning, arrive at office to find my desk moved again. Now, in supply closet. Spatial reorganization for better energy flow, explains Jessica. My masculine energy was disrupting the collaborative feminine workspace. Supply closet has no windows, barely fits desk and chair. Computer setup now includes ancient CRT monitor that flickers constantly. When I ask about it, told that newer equipment would be wasteful since I'll be working more quietly now. Spend 8 hours daily in a closet staring at a dying monitor. This is my life now. Lunchtime in closet because kitchen is now feminine identifying space only during peak hours. Eating sandwich alone surrounded by boxes of printer paper. Hear laughter from main office. They're planning weekend trip to some feminist retreat. Should we invite Brian? Chorus of no, so loud I hear it through the wall. He's not ready for that level of sisterhood. Maybe in a year or two. If he keeps making progress. Progress toward what? Becoming a ghost? I'm already practically invisible. Afternoon email from Rebecca with subject, growth opportunity. Company is starting masculinity recovery program for other businesses. Wants me to be the poster child, traveling to different companies to share my transformation. Essentially becoming a circus act. Reformed male speaks about his journey to not being terrible. The irony is, they want to pay me extra for this. Extra money to publicly humiliate myself nationwide. American dream achieved, I guess. That weekend, alone in my apartment, realize I haven't spoken more than 20 words per day in 2 months. Haven't expressed an opinion in 3 months. Haven't felt human in 6 months. Look in mirror and don't recognize myself. Hollow eyes, slumped shoulders, defeated posture. I've been successfully reformed into a shell of a person. This is their version of success. This broken thing staring back at me. Monday morning, wake up and can't face going to work. Call in sick for first time in months. Jessica calls back within an hour. We need to discuss your commitment to the team. Calling in sick shows lack of accountability to your growth process. Mental health day would be more appropriate. But you'd need to write a reflection essay about what triggered your masculine fragility. Art. She wants me to write an essay about why I'm too weak to come to work. Hang up and start updating resume. Spend sick day applying to jobs. Realize I have no idea how to write about this experience. Software developer with experience in feminine workplace integration? Skilled in masculinity suppression and privilege acknowledgement? What do I put in the accomplishments section? Successfully reduced toxic masculinity by 87%. Pioneered workplace silence techniques? Managed to exist without offending anyone for several consecutive days. Return to work next day to find motivational poster on my closet door. Growth happens outside your comfort zone, with photo of butterfly emerging from cocoon. Except I'm not becoming a butterfly. I'm becoming whatever the opposite of a butterfly is. A worm, maybe. Yes, I'm becoming a worm. Team meeting about my recent setback. calling in sick. Entire staff gathered to discuss my regression. We're worried Brian is backsliding into old patterns. Taking unauthorized time off shows entitlement. We need to recommit to his development. They're talking about me like I'm not there again. Raise hand to speak. Can I please contribute to this conversation about myself? Rebecca shakes her head sadly. This is exactly the kind of centering behavior we're trying to address. Apparently asking to participate in meetings about myself is selfish. New intervention plan includes daily check-ins with accountability partner, Sarah from marketing, weekly privilege reflection journals reviewed by committee, mandatory attendance at Masculinity Anonymous meetings. Yes, they made up a 12-step program for being male. Monthly progress presentations to entire staff. And voluntary, mandatory donation to women's charities as reparations. They've created a full rehabilitation program. I'm not an employee anymore. I'm a patient. First Masculinity Anonymous meeting held in office conference room. It's just me and River from the Mindful Masculinity Workshop. He leads the meeting using actual AA format. Hi, I'm River, and I'm a recovering masculine person. Hi, River. Hi, I'm Brian, and I'm a recovering masculine person. This is my life now, confessing to the sin of being born male. River shares his story of hitting rock bottom when he mansplained something to his girlfriend. My turn to share. Describe recent relapse of calling in sick. River nods understandingly. The road to recovery is long, brother. We end meeting by reading the Masculine Serenity Prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept my privilege, the courage to check it daily, and the wisdom to center women always. Accountability check-ins with Sarah are psychological torture. Daily 30-minute sessions where she reviews my behavior. Yesterday you walked too fast to the printer. Your email responses are too brief. Seems dismissive. You held the elevator for someone. That's paternalistic. You didn't hold the elevator. That's inconsiderate. Taking notes on everything I do. Literally everything. Bathroom breaks timed and recorded. Water cooler interactions analyzed for problematic content. Number of words spoken per day tracked on spreadsheet. Monthly progress presentation to staff. Standing in front of everyone with PowerPoint about my growth areas. Slide 1. Masculine behaviors I've eliminated this month. Slide 2. Ongoing challenges in my recovery. Slide 3. Commitment to continued growth. Slide 4. How the team can support my journey. Q&A. Session where co-workers suggest additional areas for improvement. Have you considered working on your posture? You still stand too confidently. Your laugh seems forced. Try to be more authentic. When you agree with our suggestions too quickly, it feels performative. Can't win no matter what I do. Privilege Reflection Journal becomes exercise in creative writing. Daily entries about newly discovered ways I'm problematic. Monday. Realized my coffee preference, black, might be subconsciously racist. Tuesday. Noticed I instinctively reach for heavier objects, reinforcing gender stereotypes. Wednesday. Caught myself explaining something, working on this mansplaining tendency. Thursday. Apologized too much, centering my guilt instead of others' experiences. Friday. Didn't apologize enough, showing lack of accountability. Journal reviewed by committee who grade my insight level. Failing at self-reflection apparently, 3 more companies hire Rebecca as consultant for their male employee reformation programs. I'm scheduled to visit all 3 as success story. First presentation is at tech startup downtown. Room full of male employees looking terrified. Their female co-workers taking notes like they're studying for final exam. Give presentation about my journey from toxic to tolerable. Q&A is mostly women asking how to implement similar programs. One guy raises hand. Is this legal? Rebecca fields the question. We prefer to think of it as cultural evolution. Guy looks like he wants to run. Second presentation at marketing firm. Title on agenda. Masculinity detox, a case study. Realize I'm not a person to them. I'm a case study. A before and after example. A cautionary tale, a science experiment, anything except a human being with thoughts and feelings. During presentation, feel like I'm eulogizing my former self. The old Brian was confident, outspoken, and engaged. We recognize now how harmful these traits were. Audience nods approvingly. I'm giving my own funeral speech. Third presentation goes completely off rails, middle of describing my privilege acknowledgement process. Suddenly, can't remember why I'm doing this. Stop mid-sentence and look around room. 50 people staring at me expectantly. Rebecca gesturing for me to continue. Mind goes completely blank. Stand there in silence for what feels like hours. Finally mumble, "I think I need some air," and walk out. First time I've left a room without permission in months. Feels like escaping prison. Sit in parking garage having full breakdown. 6 months of systematic psychological conditioning finally hitting me. They didn't just want to change my behavior. They wanted to change who I am fundamentally. And it worked. I don't know who I am anymore. Can't remember what my opinions used to be. Can't remember what I enjoyed. Can't remember feeling confident about anything. Successfully converted into whatever they wanted me to be. Empty shell that apologizes for existing. Rebecca finds me in parking garage. "Brian, what's going on? You were doing so well." Look at her and finally ask the question that's been building for months. What do you actually want from me? She sits down next to me on concrete barrier. We want you to be your best self. What if this isn't my best self? What if my best self is confident and outspoken? What if I was fine the way I was? Long pause. Brian, that kind of thinking is exactly why you need continued work. She's not even hearing me. I'm describing psychological damage and she's calling it resistance to treatment. Return to office and announcement is waiting. Company has won Innovative Workplace Diversity Award, specifically for their groundbreaking male employee integration program. Trophy sitting on reception desk. My photo is featured prominently in award materials. I'm the poster child for male subjugation, and they're proud of it. Celebration party planned for Friday. I'm expected to give speech about honor of being their test subject. Spend rest of week writing resignation letter. Draft after draft, can't find right words. How do you explain that your job slowly erased your personality? How do you describe systematic psychological conditioning in professional language? How do you resign from cult disguised as workplace? Finally settle on simple version. Effective immediately, I am resigning from my position. Thank you for the learning opportunity. Even my resignation letter sounds like I've been brainwashed. Friday morning, award celebration day. Arrive at office to see congratulations team banner. Catered breakfast, flowers everywhere. Local news crew setting up. They're doing interviews about their revolutionary approach to workplace equality. Reporter wants to interview me as the transformed employee. This is it, moment of truth. I can give them what they want and continue living as broken shell. Or I can remember who I used to be. News interview starts. So Brian, tell us about your transformation. Look directly into camera. Think about my mum's advice. Think about the man I was 6 months ago. Think about what I want my life to look like. Actually, I have an announcement. Pull resignation letter from pocket. I'm resigning effective immediately. Rebecca's face goes white. This company systematically destroyed my self-confidence and called it growth. They isolated me, humiliated me, and convinced me it was for my own good. This isn't workplace equality. It's psychological abuse. Chaos erupts. Rebecca tries to grab microphone. He's having an episode. This is what regression looks like. News crew keeps filming. Co-workers gathering around looking shocked. For first time in months, I speak loudly and clearly. I was hired as software developer and turned into performance art. They didn't want to include me, they wanted to break me. And they succeeded. But I'm done being your experiment. Walk out, without looking back. First time I've had final word in conversation since starting this job. Spend weekend in complete silence. Not imposed silence, chosen silence. Trying to remember who I am. Slowly start recognizing my own thoughts again. Opinions that aren't filtered through shame. Preferences that aren't apologized for. Confidence that isn't labeled as toxicity. It's like recovering from amnesia. Pieces of my personality slowly coming back. Monday morning, wake up, and don't have to go to hell. Freedom feels surreal. Check company's social media. They've posted damage control statement. Former employee having difficulty with growth process. Sometimes individuals aren't ready for progressive workplace culture. We wish him well on his continued journey. Even in their damage control, they're condescending. But I don't care anymore. Their opinion of me is no longer relevant. News story about my resignation goes viral. Split response as expected. Half the comments supporting me. Finally, someone spoke out about this insanity. This is what actual workplace harassment looks like. These companies have lost their minds. Other half attacking me. Typical male fragility. Can't handle being held accountable. This is why we need more programs like this. But for first time in months, I can read criticism without automatically believing it. Job hunting round 2 is different experience. Interview at normal tech company. Manager is regular guy named Dave. Asks about technical skills, project experience, normal stuff. No questions about toxic masculinity, no privilege assessments, no personality reformation requirements. Just wants to know if I can do the job. Revolutionary concept apparently. Get offer within a week. Final twist. 3 months later, get call from employment lawyer. Turns out several other men had similar experiences at progressive companies. Class action lawsuit being filed. This company was just the worst example of a growing trend. Companies using social justice language to justify workplace abuse. My news interview helped other victims come forward. Suddenly, I'm not crazy, I'm not weak, I'm not the problem. I was victim of systematic harassment disguised as enlightenment. 1 year later, doing much better. Working at normal company with normal people. Remembered how to have opinions without apologizing. Remembered how to speak up in meetings. Remembered how to exist without constant shame. Still working on undoing psychological damage. Therapy helps, but takes time to unlearn months of conditioning. Some days still catch myself overanalyzing every interaction, but getting better. Epilogue. The organization disbanded after lawsuit. Rebecca started consulting business helping companies manage difficult transitions. Still doesn't understand what she did wrong. Several other similar companies quietly changed their policies. Apparently bad publicity makes them reconsider psychological torture programs. Who would have thought? Lessons learned. Workplace equality doesn't mean employee psychological destruction. Being male doesn't require constant apology. Confidence isn't toxicity. Participation isn't dominance. Having opinions isn't oppression. Most importantly, if job makes you hate yourself, it's not you that's the problem. Took 6 months to learn that lesson, but worth learning. To any anons in similar situations, trust your instincts. Document everything. Talk to people outside the situation. Remember who you are. No job is worth losing yourself. There are normal workplaces with normal people. You don't have to accept psychological abuse as progressive enlightenment. You're not the problem. They are.